Hello, hello. Look who can sit upright at her kitchen table today and actually enjoy the world a little bit. Still not all the way mended, and I'm still peaked and puny, but I'm doing so much better. Well enough to come on here and just kind of have a powwow with you all about what has been going on YouTube and in the true crime community. Now, you all know that when the Summer Wells case and the Gabby Petito case came out, and I felt that I had a perspective on that because of my career, my jobs, I was welcome to give my expertise and advice on some channels, and I loved it. I met some great and amazing people. Also in the process, I found out that when you enter yourself into the true crime community and you're a new person and you have a valid viewpoint, you have a career that you have built valid viewpoints within, and you've got a working knowledge of certain things, and you have an understanding of the psychology behind the mentality that creates the true crime issues that they like to delve into as a community, I found out that you become a target. So quickly you become a target, they put a bullseye on my behind as big as my butt. And let me tell you, that took a lot of effort, so A+ for effort, guys. But you failed because I didn't respond emotionally and allow you to dictate my world. And when you tried to heighten the emotional issues, I pulled back and said, sorry, I don't play that game either, because I'm in control of my emotions. Therefore, if I don't think you're giving me what I think is going to get a good response out of me, I'm going to go where something's going to give me a good response, because I'm seeking good people, good responses, and good behavior. I'm not seeking drama and the internet garble that normally drives other people's machines, drives their brains, the drama machine. And so when I didn't respond and twist to their contorted perception of let's pull her in and play with her a little bit and throw her away, they went, oh, okay. And I was like, yeet, bye. I was fine. So I just kept doing my thing. But it just has kept expanding in the true crime community. It's just this behavior's kept expanding. And what blows my mind is that it was the Summer Wells case that created the biggest issue in the true crime community. Yes, you're hearing me. You're hearing me correctly. The possible abduction, kidnapping, harm, foul play, something that has to do with this precious 5-year-old girl made adults act like animals. How does that happen? How can you take a 5-year-old that should bring out every maternal instinct that every normal functioning adult has, and somehow you get it twisted and it brings out the most cancerous portions of your human psyche? That takes a lot of willpower to focus that much shit in that direction. So for you people that like to focus your shit in that direction, let's have a conversation about this, because you're doing a huge, grave disservice to yourself. What you're doing is actually isolating yourself into a place of negativity, into a place where your brain goes into negative, goes into the black first instead of the positive white light. It goes into the, I'm going to look at my brethren as instigators or behavioral combatants, as opposed to people that can share in what I'm going through and bring more understanding. Why do we do this? Because we want to control what we can't understand. Even though we can't understand it, we don't want to take the time to understand it. We just want to control it and organize it and feel like we're pulling the strings and being the puppeteer. Why? Because that's where people get that semblance of life is okay. If I control this, life is okay. But if you control it and it's still shit, then you're just in control of shit. And I don't know about you, but those big pounds, those big things of manure, those big piles of manure that, you clean your horses all every day and you throw the poop in a big pile, and, oh, I got a big pile of poop. I'm proud of my big pile of poop. Guess what? It will combust, because it just gets in there and heats up and churns and just blows up, and then boof, it combusts. And then you got an explosion and a fire and a big bunch of crap on your hand to handle. And I don't think you all understand what you're doing when you're composting all this negativity to create this pile of shit that you, oh my precious love. And then when it gets over here and it goes poof, then you want to blame it on everyone else. Let me state this as simply as I can. As a past clinician and a past parole officer, I could use big terms and big words and it would just go right over your head or in one ear and out the other. But let me tell you what you're doing with your life. You're taking all the great and beautiful things in this world and you're shoving them aside, and you're saying, yes, I have access to great people, great things, positivity, a nice life, a beautiful day, happiness and smiles. But I would rather take shit from everyone else and put it into a big shit ball so that I can sit here and be surrounded by shit and throw shit at other people. And it's just another poo-flinging day in the jungle. And let me tell you that because you want control, you're willing to take it in the shittiest way possible, obviously. So how about for 24 hours we put the shit down? And maybe we pick up something a little bit more light. Maybe we pick up some positivity. Maybe we pick up one person that we bonded with that keeps us positive or takes us in a positive route. Maybe we look for things that we don't feel we can control from an angry perspective, but we think we can control from a positive perspective, and we start to shift our brains. Because control is something that obviously you all need. You all feel lost without it. Obviously it's something that you feel that you must have at any cost. I'm going to ask you what is the real cost you're willing to pay, because at this point the toxicity level within the true crime community on YouTube is about to self-explode. It's about to implode. It's about to go bye-bye, because no one wants to be part of the true crime community anymore because they're so focused on flinging their pooey shit at everybody. Now, I could say this in eloquent words and eloquent ways, and I would very much love to have the insight and the speaking capabilities of Dr. Latina, who I just saw today for the first time. Loved her. But I'm going to leave the eloquence to Dr. Latina because I am hillbilly heart. I say things in a hillbilly way. And sometimes it just helps you get it better. Let me tell you something. When you pick your friends, pick them carefully. Because if you pick people based on their viciousness, or their disgust or discare of other people, or their mistrust or miscare of other people's emotions, and you allow that into your house, what they'll track through your house is not positivity, it's not support, it's not emotional support or physical support, or the manifestation of calm and collective support. What they're going to bring through is all the shit that they collect too. And now you're just a shit collector with a bunch of shit collectors sitting in your shit collection, eating shit, throwing shit, and dealing with shit. And pretty soon, ain't nobody going to give a shit. You ain't going to have no shit to deal with no more. So before it gets to where you are extricated from this community that you apparently love, think about why you love it. And then think about why you're destroying the thing you love. And then think about how many other times have you done this in your life where you've been given a great thing, a great opportunity, a standing somewhere, and you've thrown it away like a pile of shit? Why? Is this repetitive in your life? Does this happen a lot? Is it a control mechanism? Is it self-sabotage? It could be both. Is it deflection? Because if you look at other people's shortcomings, you don't have to look at your own. Think about these things. Because when I see people and I see other voices and other vantage points, I go, that's beautiful. I wouldn't have thought about that. That adds to my bouquet of beautiful, thoughtful conversations and ideas that I keep in my head, my beautiful bouquet. And I add a bouquet to it, I add a flower to my bouquet every day. Anything I see is beautiful, that is going to bring positivity. I think of that, I pick it and I put it in my bouquet in my head. And I have a beautiful bouquet. I certainly don't have a pile of shit. So why are we picking the piles of shit over the beautiful bouquets? Where is your discernment coming from? Why is it coming from there? And why, when you choose to put yourself into these communities, do you put yourself at an overlord position of negativity and power and destructiveness? When you could have friends that would come in and talk about this and bring positive awareness. But you know something? All we've done is actually bring awareness to the people, mostly on the internet, that want to listen to true crime. All they really want to do is pick other people apart. And it seems like they're into true crime because they like to pick it apart, but then the crime is not enough. Then they have to start picking the people that are also with them, picking the crime apart, start picking the people apart. And then it just caves and it falls off. The community is dying. It's dying because there are not enough good people in it. And the few good people that are there are being attacked. They're being told that they are misrepresenting themselves, that they're financially extorting people, or that what they're doing is not enough, or when they're doing amazing things, such as putting up billboards to help bring awareness to missing people that are not in the media every day. You find fault with someone that spends thousands of dollars to put billboards up. What billboard have you put up? What have you done? You've broken down the ladder that everyone's climbing to reach a higher ground with the story, to show more people, for everyone to have a better vantage point. So are you here for the children? Are you here for the people that are the victims of true crime? Are you here for the people that are struggling with things that have happened in their lives in the past that are true crime related? Or are you just here because you want to build your ball of shit to throw at somebody? I mean, it's just a valid question. I just want to know. I just need to know if I need to duck or if I should welcome what comes my way from you. Right now, I'm ducking more than anything because I'm getting more shit thrown at me than anything. And I just think it's disgusting for adults to be in that place, mentally and physically. Now, Dr. Latina was on Sharon's channel the other night, and I have been so sick that I'm so far behind. I'm trying to catch up. But Dr. Latina was so upset, and I understand, because I have days where I am not conducive to society because I will not be my best self. I will not be the portrayal that I need to be on here to reach as many people. But sometimes we have to also expose our not so best self to let people understand that we're still being affected by this. Even though we have a clinician kind of way of handling it, we still get affected. And she said she was having to retract because of her cardiac health. Her cardiac health. And Dr. Latina, sweetie, honey, you're precious. You speak so eloquently. You bring such a depth to the stories and the transgressions that are going on in this community and within the stories themselves. Please do not give up on your message, because your message is great. You're focusing on the things that should be focused on. You're focusing on the well-being and the treatment and the overall care package of these people that are in these chasms in their life. Please continue doing this. You have a great voice and a great mental thought pattern. It needs to be here. It needs to be present on YouTube. You have to be a voice that's here on YouTube. You're wonderful. I would love to do a panel with you at some point when I feel better. But I just want to let you know that true crime right now, the community is basically consuming itself. And if we don't shift it and it doesn't stop, it will cease to be anything positive. It will cease to be anything that can help any victim of a crime. It will cease to stop victimization for new crimes. And it will just become a laughing joke, a moniker of what could have been. And it won't be because of the good people that care. It will be because of the people that broke it down, because they would rather sit on a pile of shit than pick beautiful bouquets to think that, you know, they're precious. And I may not agree with all of you, but I can pick this one thing that you said and I can put it in my bouquet and we can share that, instead of hoarding the crap and wanting to throw it back at other people. It's just so, adults should have so many more abilities to function at capacity rather than show their dysfunction below capacity. And everyone's not meeting the bar for me lately. I'm sorry, you're just simply not meeting the bar for me lately. And so I don't give you my energy, because I don't believe my energy will be appreciated. I don't think my energy will be put to good use. I think my energy will be turned and sent back as ammunition. And I don't think that my energy will help. The true basis of this is to educate people about this, educate people how to stop it, and keep these stories alive so that people are keeping looking, searching, and educating for these children and how to stop other kids from being put in these positions, other people being put in these positions. So I have enough energy today to be irritated about this, because I found out that right now I'm a huge fan of Dr. Latina. Huge fan. Could that change? Yeah, it could potentially change. I've only seen her speak a few times, but I am extremely enamored with the way that she expresses herself. And she's right about a couple of things. The disengagement from being helpful to being harmful in the community is got to stop. And then she was talking about the overall treatment of Dawn and Candace, and how, you know, the appearances, you know, the appearances, like, is, you know, she was, of course she's Spanish, the the Spanish term that came to my mind was fanfarrón. You know, they turned into braggarts and went to Hollywood and got new teeth and hair and lived it up, you know, at the cost of their child. Just process that for a moment. The admission cost for that was their child. To me, that's what it looks like, a transaction. And that bothers me. But Don did have a DUI arrest. And he did have a violation of probation also placed on him. But he was released. But let me tell you, after a decade of being a probation and parole officer in criminal courts, if you have a criminal court violation of probation, you 99.9% of the time get a no bond, which means you are not being released until you see the criminal court judge. And in rural communities, that's normally once every 4 to 6 weeks because they do a circuit of 5 or more counties. So technically, Don should have been arrested and kept in jail until he saw a criminal court judge. There is some reason that they have released him. I can't say it's for any kind of treatment purposes because I have not seen any treatment happen from a Department of Corrections standpoint for Don Wells. They're certainly not speaking about it if it is happening. But I will let you know that Tennessee Department of Corrections does have forensic social workers. These forensic social workers are licensed clinicians that can see these people in a clinical setting, send them to treatment. That the Department of Corrections has contracts with facilitators and organizations where these treatments can be sought, completely paid for by the state. They also have working contracts for drug rehab and other stuff like that where they can get grant beds, scholarship beds, and these people can go basically paid for treatment. So the fact that we're not seeing Don Wells either being pushed into some kind of treatment protocol or program, or at least some kind of pending treatment plan for these specific issues we've been seeing with this family, bothers me. It bothers me greatly to see that we have not seen an active officer engage and Don speak about, oh, right now I have this supervision standard that I have to do. I have this special condition that I have to comply with. Because of all this, I have to do this. He's not talking about that. He doesn't feel obligated at all to his supervision, apparently, which is confusing to me. Because the Department of Corrections is set up to have this capability to treat them immediately and almost free. And they have the licensed clinicians in their world, in each district, that should be doing this. And yet we're not seeing anything occur. I'm not seeing any treatment. I'm not seeing any protocol. I'm not seeing any violation where he's staying on a no bond. I'm not seeing anything work the way that it worked for me when I was an officer for a decade. And that concerns me because it tells me either there's a fear that if he's not in the home, something's going to happen in the home. Or there's a fear that if they remove him and something happens to him, they will be at fault. So who is the bigger scaredy cat? I don't know. That's one thing I would like to know, because they certainly are not taking advantage of the things that could benefit this man and this family at all. And with the violation of probation and the paper that he has on him, he is subject to be basically at the whim of the state. And they could force a lot of treatment that, yes, if he's not going to buy into it, it will not matter. But it may start something that creates a change within him that does take hold. And I can't tell you why they have not started this at this time. It bothers me. But, you know, I would say that I am appalled, but human behavior is something that I've studied for a long time, and I know how vindictive and vicious people can be. I just, at some point, normally see that vindictiveness take a break for a little brief moment of humanity to shine through, and I'm not seeing that in the true crime community these days. And I'm seeing the great people get attacked. I'm seeing the people that are doing nothing take on the role of they're doing something simply because they're tearing apart the people that are actually doing things. And so they're saying, well, they're not doing it because I tore it apart, but I'm doing something because I dismantled them. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're breaking down the ladder we're all climbing to try to get to the top of these stories and shout this knowledge from the hilltops, to share it with as many people and as many voices as possible, to keep this growing, to keep awareness and just emboldening and building every day. I want to sit atop a ladder of education. I want to sit atop a ladder of concern and commitment to my community. I want to sit atop a ladder of friendship and support, positivity. I want to sit atop a ladder that says I don't want this to happen again, and I want to show people that there are positive and embracing adults that want to build a community to create a better way to look at this, study this, learn about it, and stop these things in the future. I want to sit atop that ladder. So I would like for some of you to climb off your pile of shit, start climbing my ladder. And if you want to stay on your pile of shit, don't throw it at me. It's sad to be sick for so long and to come out and to want to reach into this little box where I've made so many friends and see something positive. And all I see is disheartenment, disdain for people that are trying to do good things, drama that doesn't need to be there, people squabbling over pennies when there are lost lives, lost children, absolutely depleted families. And you're worried about if you got enough clicks or likes today. Have a big talk with yourself and your ego. If you want to sit on your pile of shit, throw it at other people, I can't stop you. But I certainly will not aid and abet you. We can do better, people. We can do better. We have to. That's all I've got to say. Mama Liz out.